this next pick in Creed Humphrey. He's good for the short term. He's good for the long term. He's good for any term because this dude is according to Jordan, that's a dude right there. According to Oklahoma football, he's a dude. According to everybody, this guy's a dude. He can move people and he can look good doing it too. He is one of the guys from Duke Manyweather. So once you get one of those guys, okay, this guy's legit. You watch his workout clips. He's got that firepower. He's got that get off. He also didn't allow a sack in his career at Oklahoma. It is a little easier to do that at center. I will say that than at tackle.
Yeah,
but it's not nothing.
You're missing one more, Tucker.
He was credited with some stuff about not giving up sacks. But Connor, I want you to point out what Tucker missed. I'm intrigued.
What did I miss? Yes.
At 10 RAS. He was a 10 RAS athlete. The number one center in the last, I don't know how many years the RAS guys go back. But he was the number one center in athletic testing.
87, I'm pretty sure. He's gone back. He's databased it. So it's I think he's gone back to 1987.
It was out of 500 centers. So
and
he's an athlete.
Dude, and look, in my scouting report, I literally put average athlete. Those were my exact terms. Then he had the pro day and tweeted out thoughts and prayers to people who said I was an average athlete. Then shared my scouting report again on Friday night. I didn't change it. I mean, I have to stick with what I saw, which he obviously proved me wrong. And in the little blurb that I texted Tucker right after the pick, I was like, he proved those people wrong, parentheses, including myself, blah, 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 blah. He did much better than I thought he was going to at his pro day. Very, very bright player. Comfortable calling out different alignments at the line of scrimmage. Really, really bright, heady, smart, he's just a great football player. Fundamentally sound technician, can do it well against in run blocking and pass blocking. Trying to think of a red flag with him or even something that I didn't really like.
He's a bit old.
He's a little bit old, and then the athleticism was something I didn't love. He tested a 10. It's not like one drill. It's not like the measurements were that kind of weighted it. One drill he did really well. The dude just aced everything. And I think that he's a guy that I would have been fine with at 31 had the Chiefs taken him, even though he's an interior offensive lineman. I gave him a first round grade. To get him at 63, that's pretty darn good, considering, man, it's insane to think that the Chiefs saw what happened in the Super Bowl and literally just revamped that entire unit. Talk about an overcorrection by Brett Veach. That dude literally
I'm fine with this one.
Yes. Yeah. He did everything in his power, and it is absolutely awesome.
I've never seen a team remake their offensive line like the Chiefs have just done in one offseason. It is insane. They're going to at least have 5 different day one starters, but LDT might be the 5th, but it's at least going to be 4 new starters that the Chiefs have never started on the offensive line. And then the left side of the offensive line might be Orlando Brown, Joe Thuney, Creed Humphrey. Pick Clyde Edwards-Helaire in your fantasy leagues. He's going to have a monster year. People are down on him right now just because they kind of disappointed his rookie year. Pick him anywhere he falls in the draft. It's going to be crazy. I will say I watched the Brandon Thorne episode he did with Creed Humphrey. The dude is so smart. He knows what he's doing all the time. Brandon Thorne, the first tape they watched was against Quinnen Williams, and he held his own very well. And he definitely was the thing that Brandon Thorne even mentioned this. He has shorter arms, so against bull rushers that get on him real quick, he will struggle a bit sometimes, and he will be pushed back in the pocket. But I mean, there was some nitpicks here and there from Thorne, but he really loved him, and that dude knows O-line. So I'm just going to default to what he says because I don't know as much as he does.
Yeah, you got Brandon Thorne's high on him. Duke Manyweather's high on him. Jeff Schwartz is high on him. Those are literally, that's like the holy trinity of offensive line content right there.
Right.
That get their stamp of approval. And they were all very Like they're saying, hey, the Chiefs got an absolute steal at 63 with this guy. And I'd said, on other podcasts, I said, man, I would love. And when people send us these mock drafts and I see they had Creed Humphrey at 63, I'd say, man, I would absolutely love that. That's not going to happen. Like Creed Humphrey, he's going round 1 or he's going early round 2, but he fell to 63. And this kind of whole makeover of the offensive line is wonderful. And they signed Austin Blythe, right? But they signed Austin Blythe to backup money essentially, so they can really make him the backup, and it won't hurt them too much here. I'm starting to really like that Blythe signing now, especially with this move here. That makes this look really good. And Rainey Jazirli tweeted something out. I really like Rainey. Rainey's a good follow. Tweets a lot about the Royals, but does occasionally tweet about the Chiefs. He says the Chiefs offensive line in their last game: Rimmers, Allegretti, Ryder, Wisniewski, Wiley. Chiefs offensive line in their next game: Brown, Tooney, Humphrey, LDT / Kyle Long, Lucas Niang. That is a absolute complete 180, and has to be, he said here, I know I'm prone to hyperbole, but that might be the biggest game-to-game offensive line upgrade in NFL history. That is night and day. Not only is that a good pass protecting offensive line, it's a good rushing offensive line. And as Connor mentioned, that's going to make Clyde Edwards-Helaire look a lot better. Hopefully Clyde Edwards-Helaire gets more involved in the passing game, which adds a whole nother dimension to this offense here. Just what Patrick Mahomes needs, right, is a whole nother dimension. So adding Creed Humphrey, I think, is absolutely beautiful. I know we'll talk about wide receivers. I know Jordan and I will, we have an episode going to be coming out too. So you guys got a lot of content to listen to prior to the draft. We'll talk about, wide receivers, who's left there, who's going to play wide receiver for the Chiefs. That's a big one. But I think taking Creed here at the value is like, this is one of those, I know we talked about this sometimes too, Jordan, picks that you sprint to the podium for. And I think that this is one that classifies as, when the Chiefs saw Creed Humphrey, they're like, okay, we got to sprint to the podium, because like Austin Blythe probably wasn't option 1, if we're honest, to be the center.
Sure.
So when they see they get a day one center, they get a day one center here, they're there.
They were really weird about talking about Blythe, because they never really said, yeah, we see him as like a starting center. They were like, yeah, we're glad we have Blythe. He'll be adding to the depth here. And I'm like, okay. I mean, like, you guys don't have a center. We're going into the draft. What's going to happen? And they picked the center. And he's only making $990,000 this year. So it's not like he's being paid starter money. So, and he can even compete at right guard too. They can have a 3-way competition there if they want. They say Blythe and Creed will compete. I'm going to say Creed wins it personally. I can see Blythe winning it, but I'm going to guess Creed will. It's just crazy seeing even last year's week 1 offensive line compared to this one. I would definitely choose this one. Because I think the offensive linemen are more versatile. They'll definitely get people moving in the run game. And I mean, like, I don't know if we care a lot about the run game in Kansas City, but we at least want it to be good. And the offensive line was not good at it last year. So I think there's more upside, there's more floor. The offensive line is crazy deep now. It's really hard to hate what Brett Veach has done at the offensive line position this offseason.
And to that point, because those were all fantastic points, I agree with all of them. If you're running the ball better, you might see some more stacked boxes to try to stop Clyde, which is something the Chiefs really didn't see a lot of. That gives your receivers less, or I guess more space to work with, less attention on them perhaps. Then if you give Mahomes more time in the pocket, you're going to possibly have your receivers look better. So yes, the Chiefs are going to field, pending whatever happens in the draft. As of the recording of this podcast, there's less receiving talent heading into this season, but there are a few things that may make that drop off a little bit better than people think. Like, it's not going to be a complete, oh my gosh, Mahomes doesn't have any help. He has like 2 future Hall of Fame weapons, and then Demarcus Robinson, McCall Hardman, Byron Pringle. Those guys are going to have maybe little less attention on them. Mahomes will have a little bit more time, hopefully, to get the ball to them, and it's not going to be the end of the world. Now, with that said, me and Tucker will talk about the receivers left available. I think everyone here agrees it'd be nice to see the Chiefs continue to add to that receiver room. And I don't think that they're done, but that offensive line being better in the pass and in the run game definitely helps that.
Yeah, I
Yeah, I
think
don't even
that
think. Oh, go ahead, Tucker.
I was
I've
just
already
gonna
talked
say,
enough.
do you remember the little meme that came out about it was
Oh,
Penei Sewell and Jamar Chase? It was really the
yep.
Bengals. It's like, you
Yes.
know, that tweet can be really related to any team in the National Football League. You
Mhm.
can throw the ball to anyone if you got time, but if you don't have time, it doesn't matter who you're throwing the ball to. You're not going to get it to them. So now that the Chiefs remade offensive line, I think that they have a little bit more freedom to get a project wide receiver,
Mhm.
and that can kind of tide them over. I would say it'll hold them over.
Yeah. And I don't know. The Chiefs are really set up to take a fan favorite that we haven't talked about recently. I'll just mention this one. I know you guys are going to talk about it in the other podcast, but Tamorian Terry. I
Yes.
mean, he'll need time, and I don't think he would be a huge year one impact. But there's a lot of guys on this day 3 that I personally like that are bigger X type guys. This where the Chiefs were picking right now. Terrace Marshall would have been nice. Diami Brown would have been nice. But after those two, it was kind of like, yeah, I like Nico Collins too. But a lot of them are just slot guys. So
Mm-hmm.
there'll be room to take them. And I think the Chiefs did well. And I said on Twitter about Creed, I'm like, this is my second favorite Veach pick behind. I really like Juan Thornhill when they picked him. So it's behind
Yeah.
Juan. This is my second favorite one Veach has done. The player makes sense. Where he fits in makes sense. Everybody loves it. Not even just Chiefs fans. Like everybody loves it,
Yep.
which is Veach has not done that a lot. He has not gotten the national media to actually like his picks a lot. They've been like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Sure, whatever. On to the next pick. But people have been like, Creed, ooh, the Chiefs offensive line. Oh my gosh, it's a great fit. And I think I agree with them. I think Veach knocked it out of the park with Creed. And I think Bolton is to be determined. We'll see.
Mm-hmm.
Not overtly negative, not like I love the pick either.